Hello and welcome back to Guided Souls. I'm your host, Katie, and I'm so excited to be back here for another week with you guys. If you prefer to watch instead of listen, you can head on over to my YouTube channel at Guided Soul Crystals. You can also follow me on all the socials at Guided Soul Crystals. I'm excited about this week's topic. I have had a lot of big internal shifts in the past week, and I know so often we're looking for external shifts, but I really think that the internal ones are the ones that shift everything in our external. So it's really exciting to me whenever those happen. And so I want to tell you guys a little bit more about that. And we are going to be talking about jumping timelines. And just like other industries have buzzwords, spirituality definitely has its own set of buzzwords. And I feel like jumping timelines, timeline jumping, timeline hopping is definitely among those buzzwords. I hear it all the time. I don't often hear it explained or explained how to do it in a way that has actually been effective to me. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about how I've been doing that and how I do feel like I have essentially shifted or jumped timelines, however you want to refer to it. So it's this idea that you are living in one timeline, but that there are an infinite amount of timelines and potentials for how your life could be. And if you change the way that you think and you feel, and you're focusing on your desired outcome rather than all of the things in front of you in your day to day, you can actually shift the timeline that you're in and start to create this new reality. So I kind of think of it as like, if you don't have, say you don't have peripheral vision and you're just seeing your life in one tunnel, and the struggles that you're going through continue in this tunnel, you can just kind of shift your focus to the right, and there will be this whole different tunnel that has a new reality and a new timeline in it. And I'll be totally honest, I don't fully understand how this works in terms of how it relates to destiny and fate and your soul path and also free will. I also don't know what I believe about how those all work. In my mind, it's a combination of everything. Like, we are on this destined path. There are certain things that are meant to happen, but maybe how we get there and how quickly we get there and how we feel as we're getting there is different and can be up to us and our free will. And that is how we shift timelines. But I'm not 100% sure on how that works or even what I fully believe around how that works. But there's a lot of different ideologies, I guess, or ways that I've heard people explain or describe how you should shift from one timeline to another. Some people will say you should raise your vibrational frequency, and you can do that by using sound healing or crystals or meditation. Other people will say, strong visualization techniques are the way to go. Writing down, what you want and repeating it and reading it every day, saying it out loud. Some people say you should really visualize and desire and feel what it feels like to live in that reality, so that you begin to be that person in your current reality, and then your future and that timeline just kind of finds you. And that's the one that has made the most sense to me, is like, okay, if I can visualize what this future would look like and how I would feel in this future, and then I teach myself to feel and be that person in the present moment, then I will be essentially shifting my timeline and aligning myself with this future timeline. However, that's much easier said than done. And even though I have tried that in the past, I haven't really felt like I have made that much lasting change in terms of how I think about and relate to future possibilities in my life. So I guess until now. So in the past week, I have been reading or more specifically, listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza's book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and the guided meditations that go along with it. And when I first read the title, I was like, well, that sounds kind of mean. Like, why would you want to like break the habit of being yourself, especially if you've done all this work to love yourself? But the idea is that you have all these subconscious thoughts and emotions that make up who you are, and they get replayed in your mind and in your body every single day. And that makes it really hard to have any real lasting change. So I am going to talk about my experience as I've begun to do this just over the last week. So I'm definitely not an expert. And I will explain some of Dr. Joe Dispenza's concepts to the best of my ability. I am not a quantum physicist, so if you want the actual real science behind it, I would highly recommend reading his book, and I'll give you more of a breakdown on what exactly I think about the book here in a little bit. But I do want to point out that jumping timelines or timeline hopping is not a term that Dr. Joe Dispenza uses, at least not in this book, but it does. When I first did his guided meditation, I had that vision without him, prompting it, of seeing myself with this tunnel vision and shifting to a different tunnel. So I do feel like that is what I am currently doing and or have done. And so that is why I'm referring to it as timeline jumping, but those are my words and not ones that he uses, just to be clear on that. So to back up a little bit as to what prompted me to go down this route, because I have heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you are on TikTok and you are on that like spirituality algorithm, I guarantee you have heard someone mention something about him or his teachings. He's very well known in the spirituality community. And I always resonated with what people were saying when I came across those videos, but it never occurred to me to actually dive deeper into his teachings or how they might apply to my life. But I've had the feeling that I've been blocking my own success for several months now. I feel like I'm very aware of the fact that there is something internally that I need to work on and grow in order to be in alignment with my future. And in particular, I do feel like my guides and the universe have been waiting for me to be content and calm and to find joy in my current reality, because any issues that I have finding balance in my life and being able to juggle all these things is only going to get harder when like big success comes in. And so I do feel like they are wanting me to figure out that piece first. I do think that I'm one of those people, and I'm probably not alone in this, where I wait until something gets so bad and so unbearable before I'm actually like, this has to change. I cannot go on living like this. And it's how I kind of see it is it's as if you are in a pot or something of boiling water, and like the heat just keeps getting turned up. And at first you're like, oh, it's not that bad. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I have to get out of here right now. But it's being turned up so slowly and incrementally that you don't even really notice that it's getting that bad until it's like unbearable. And that is what happened with my relationship with money. I have known that working through my relationship and how I relate to money has been absolutely one of the areas that I've needed to address and fix, but I've just felt like, well, I'll wait to work on it until once I have money. Like I'll just ignore it and pretend like it doesn't exist until I have it, and then I'll work on my relationship with money. It's like, that's not how that works. That is not how that works. I'm like, well, I feel like my issue is just that I don't have enough. And so then once I have enough, the issue will go away. It's like, again, not how that works. And it got to the point where talking about money, savings, needing to take money out of savings, or like paying a credit card bill was giving me so much anxiety and like a physical response in my body that it's like the closest thing I've had to a panic attack in a long time. Is like my throat was closing up. It was hard to breathe. I would like instantly start crying and feel like I just was like ready to hyperventilate. And this was all involuntary. And I finally realized, like, whoa, this has taken such a huge toll on me. I cannot continue to go like this and to have this kind of relationship with money. I don't know when money is going to come in for me, like in the large amounts that I want it to. It's not like I have zero money, but I'm definitely not comfortable at this point, I would say. And so I don't know when that's going to come in, but I know that I cannot continue to live this way. And so that's what prompted me to really want to change and rewire my subconscious. And I had heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza, like I said, and I was guided, I believe, to listen to an episode of School of Greatness that he was on last week. And for some reason, this time I was like, oh, I need to look into this more. And so I looked up some of his different books and found this one, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and saw that it also had these like guided meditations that went along with it. And I just thought, okay, this is what I need to do. This is where I'm going. So my honest review of the book was that it was really good. There was a lot of great information. I think there's 3 parts of it. And I think that the first part was so repetitive. I honestly, if you are going to read it or listen to it and you want to save a little time, you honestly could read chapters 1 and 2, skip the rest of part 1, and then listen to parts 2 and 3 and have like the same amount of information. I just felt like in part 1, he kept going over the issue and phrasing it in slightly different ways and terms, but it's like, no, I understand what the issue is. I'm ready to hear the solution, and I don't need 5 chapters to tell me what the issue is. But maybe that's more of an issue with myself, that I struggled to get through part 1 because I just wanted to know what the solution was. So if you happen to get the book, totally up to you. But if you're like, I don't need to hear 5 chapters on what the issue is, I'll listen to chapters 1 and 2 and then just skip ahead. But I did find that 2 and 3 were very helpful in terms of explaining the solution. And chapter 3 is all about walking you through these guided meditations. And so it's a separate kind of audio book that you have to pay for to get the guided meditations, which I also found kind of annoying. But I always forget that I have Audible and I have a bunch of credits. So I was like, whatever, I'll just get both of them. And I do think that if you're going to do this, having the guided meditations is super helpful. I would honestly say I think it's more helpful than the book itself. So, whatever feels right to you, but the guided meditations have been a big help for me. I will warn you, they are long. He suggests a 4-week process where you add on to it each week, but I didn't do that. I just did it all at once, and I'm like doing the full meditation every day, which maybe is not how you're supposed to do it, but it's just what I felt guided to do. And he gives you all of the information in the book, so it's not like you just don't know what's going on. He just wants you to adjust to being able to meditate and take on these different parts of the meditation. But anyways, it comes out to be a little over an hour, so I've definitely had to get up a lot earlier in order to do this meditation in the morning. I find that it's easy to do it in the morning so that you don't lose time in the day. I think if you do it in the afternoon, you might have your mind focused on something else, or maybe you'll stay up too late if you do it at night. But whatever your preference is, I've been doing mine in the morning and have found them to be really helpful. But some of the concepts that he mentions in the book, which I'll tell you about now, is Who we are is a combination of how we think and feel, both emotionally and in our body, and that is the state of our being. And so, this information, these thoughts, these feelings, these truths that we tell ourselves get stored in our bodies. And even if we consciously want to change something, there is a strong subconscious mind that is replaying old patterns and old behaviors every day that makes it really difficult to actually make lasting change. He also talks about how 99.99% of us and the world around us is energy, and only 0.01 is made up of physical matter. I think it's actually a little bit less than 0.01, but we are all so focused on the 0.01 of the physical world around us and what we can see when we look in the mirror and our lives and the people in it, instead of focusing on the 99.99%. Now, I'm a big component of making sure that you're living in the present moment and enjoying the things and the people around you on earth. So it's definitely a balance. But in terms of wanting to control things, we are so focused on controlling our external environment instead of working on our internal environment, or the 99.99% of us and the world around us. And he also says that there are all these possibilities in the future that can exist, but they don't exist yet. And they will only exist once we create them with our energy and with our intention and with our desire, and by designing them in our mind. By doing that and putting energy towards that future, we are essentially creating it. And if you train your brain to think that your desired future is already guaranteed, and you genuinely feel that feeling in your body, and you do that every day, and you memorize how that feels, you will also memorize how you think, and thus you will change your state of being and break the habit of being yourself. And you will essentially, in my words, not his, shift timelines, and your future will be destined to find you. And it's not up to you to figure out the how. All you have to do is picture this future and design it. And when you align yourself with how it feels and how you would think and act in that reality, then that reality finds you. And how he suggests that you do this is through deep, long meditation that is repeated every day. And he explains this better in the book, so I'm not even going to waste time going into it. But the first process that is pretty long in the meditation is just shifting your brain waves that you're in. So a lot of our day is spent in beta, and he wants you to switch to, I think, theta, which allows you to get more into your subconscious mind and to not focus on your surroundings. So that is what you're doing in this meditation, is getting out of your conscious mind and into your subconscious mind. It almost feels a little bit like hypnosis to me, but it's much more active than that. I feel like hypnosis is someone telling you things, whereas this guided meditation is more like you're in your conscious mind and he's prompting you with questions to answer for yourself. So it's more active than what a hypnosis would be, but it's kind of the same idea of addressing your subconscious mind rather than your conscious mind. He also talks about this universal creative energy force, creator force, which is, you could also refer to as spirit or God or the universe, however you want to label that creator type entity. And it's the idea that this, I'll just call it universal creator energy, has created everything around us, but it's also created you, and it is a part of you, and it is flowing through you, and that it wants to give you what you want and what you desire. And when your love for your life matches the love that it has for you, then it will be able to bring those things into your life. Because one of the things Dr. Joe Dispenza says is we are like, whether we realize it or not, we are addicted to these outcomes that we keep repeating that we consciously don't want, but because our body and our subconscious mind has been doing them for so long, it's like an addiction. And so the universe will take that as, oh, they want to keep doing this, so I will keep giving it to them. And it's not until you rewire that and say, no, I want something else, and I love myself and my life, and I'm willing to put in the energy to do this, that the universal creator energy will bring that to you. But I found the vision of it like being in me and working through me and a part of me to be really helpful, because a lot of times I feel like I think of the universe and myself as a separate entity, when in reality, if this creator energy spirit created everything, it also created me, and therefore it is a part of me and working through me. And the last portion of the meditation, which I really enjoy, is you will ask this universal creator energy for signs that you have made a connection with it, that this is a two-way relationship, that you are creating your future with this energy, and you ask it for something that will surprise you and that will inspire you to keep doing this work. And I'll just say, if you have an idea of what you think it is, then it's like, oh, the sign will be this. Then it's not that. It is something that will be surprising that you did not think of, but there will be a little light bulb moment that's like, oh, whoa, I think this is like a sign that I have tapped into this universal creator energy. So what I have realized as I have gone through these meditations, which has been really enlightening to me, is that everything that is holding me back, my relationship with money, my lack of ability to accept my mediumship abilities or to grow in my career path, all come down to me not feeling good enough. And I started this thinking I was really going to focus on my lack mentality and my relationship with money, which I am. But what came to light is the reason I don't feel like I have enough is because I don't feel like I'm enough. And I'm always constantly trying to prove myself by having the better job or getting the better salary or working harder, or something that shows the external world that I am accomplished and therefore worthy of love, when in reality I'm trying to prove to myself that I am accomplished, successful, and worthy, and I'm just looking to these external markers to validate that for me. And that was a really big wake up call to me, that everything that I'm struggling with, all of it, it all comes down to me not feeling like I am good enough, worthy enough, and like I just constantly have to prove myself in order to be worthy of someone's love or praise, or even my own love, or just like contentness with myself and my life. And at my core, I really did not believe in my ability to be successful or to live a happy and healthy life where money didn't constantly stress me out, and where I wasn't constantly afraid of being a medium and not believing in myself. So it's been really great to have that come to light, but more so to rewire that to be the exact opposite of, I am worthy. I don't have to do anything or achieve anything to be worthy. I am enough. I believe in myself. I am confident in my abilities. I have so much to offer the world, but I can just be content in who I am and know that even if I don't accomplish another single thing in my life, that I am worthy of love and living a happy and healthy life. So outside of that, how it's going for me so far in terms of how it's playing out in my physical reality and the signs that I've been getting from the universal creator energy is, number one, and this is probably the biggest one, which this happened before I even started doing the meditations. I had just started listening to the book and I'd really set my intention of, okay, I'm going to change my relationship with money. Something has to change. The day I decided that and started listening to his book, I received a text that I would be coming into a large and generous monetary gift that I was not expecting, and that changes a lot of things in my day-to-day life, at least, for this year. This is money that came in that was in a large sum that I was not expecting, that was incredibly generous. And I was not only very grateful to the source of this gift, which I definitely expressed, but I was also like, whoa, I think maybe I'm onto something. If I just put out in the universe that I was done having this terrible relationship with money, I'm ready to address it and address this lack mindset. And that same day, this generous gift came in, which I did absolutely nothing to get this. I didn't work hard. I didn't achieve. This just like came to me, which was pretty incredible. After the first day of my meditation that I started, I was prompted to check my email after the meditation. And usually I always check my email first thing in the morning or last thing at night. And I just didn't even think about it for some reason. But right after I was done, I was like, I feel like I should check my email right now. And I found that someone had purchased 3 crystal necklaces off of my website just from me posting a TikTok video of like a mediumship reading and wearing a necklace, which has not happened before. Usually a lot of the sales come from like paid marketing or Instagram posts where I'm like talking about the crystal. And this was just me giving the gift of me being a medium while wearing a crystal. And someone bought 3 of my most expensive pieces on my website just from that video. So that was really cool. And then on the second day of doing the meditation, I saw a commercial for the movie If, which is about imaginary friends. And I was kind of intrigued by the previews when it came out. Like I felt like, oh, that's a movie that I would like or that I would want to watch, but didn't really think anything else of it. And then I saw this commercial where it was streaming and I thought, oh, I should watch that tonight. Like, I don't know why, but I know that I need to watch that movie tonight. And if you haven't seen it, I think it's really cute. My husband didn't really get it, but I really enjoyed it. So, mixed bag of reviews from my household, but I really liked it. And I honestly felt like the movie was like written for me because there were so many signs and synchronicities that lined up with my life in the movie. But the thing that really was like a light bulb moment for me is there's a point in the movie towards the end where the main character remembers all of this stuff from her childhood that she didn't previously remember. And it's these magical experiences that she couldn't remember until she like closed her eyes and really thought about it. And as I watched that happen, I remembered some experiences from my childhood that I had forgotten about. And that really helped me to believe in myself as a medium, because one of the things that I've been struggling with is, all these mediums saying they knew at such a young age that they were a medium or they had all these experiences when they were a kid. I'm like, I didn't have that. Like, I wonder why I didn't have that. And the flashback that I had was actually me as a kid, multiple times feeling God's presence, who I would now, call spirit or the universe, but same creator force energy, feeling it so strongly that I specifically asked for God not to show up in my room because it would scare me too much. Like, I felt it so strongly that I was like, I know you're here. I love you. But if you appear in front of me, I'm going to freak out. So please don't do that. And I also did that with past grandparents that had passed away. I felt them so strongly that I was like, I love you. I know you're here, but do not show up in my room right now because I will freak out. And so 1, I was having mediumship abilities and experiences, but number 2, I also told the spirit world basically to leave me alone or else it would freak me out, and they listened. And so that's part of the reason, among others, why I think my abilities went more dormant is because I literally told them, hey, it'll freak me out if you like come in too strong. I also had an experience where I just woke up one morning and knew that my grandma's time left on earth was limited and she lived across the country. And I said to my mom, we have to go visit her. And I was like 7 or 8, but I was like adamant. I said, I don't think she has much time left. We have to go visit her. And so we did. And she passed away a few months later. So it's like little things like that that I just didn't remember or didn't see in the light of having spiritual gifts or mediumship abilities that now I'm like, oh, they were there the whole time. I just didn't realize it. So that was really cool. And then on the third day, I really didn't have many things throughout the days happen that could have been that, which I just kind of let go. I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. But later in the evening, it was just like half an hour before going to bed or something. I was about to turn on an Office rerun. In fact, I think I had turned it on when my husband went to play a song like in our kitchen on our little speaker, iHome, whatever, and it played it pretty loudly. And usually when that happens, I'm like, like I'm trying to watch something. It's like kind of annoying. And so this time I was like, I'm not going to do that. I am going to go into the kitchen and like start dancing and make it this fun memory, because what do I want to remember about this time in my life? Do I want to remember sitting on the couch watching Office reruns, which I'm not ragging on, I still did that afterwards, or do I want to remember taking time to like go dance in the kitchen? And we started dancing like so weirdly and like just goofy that it made me laugh so hard that like my stomach hurt. So that to me was like, okay, I followed my intuition where I was being drawn to, and I had this really fun memory that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And I took that as my sign. But then as I was doing my nightly meditation, I realized I had a really balanced day where I did so many things in so many different areas of my life, from like household things to different areas of my business to spending time with my husband and my dogs and like cooking and grocery shopping and doing all these things that historically, if I had done all of those in a day, would have really stressed me out. Like it was 30 plus things. I was like, but I had a super chill day and I felt relaxed and good the whole time. And so that was another one where I was like, okay, this is definitely a sign that I am shifting and changing and creating this new reality by going through these meditations and really working on connecting with this universal creator energy and shifting my subconscious brain. So today was day 4 and I'm recording this in the morning. So I haven't necessarily gotten a sign yet, but we'll see what it brings me. And I have a feeling that this is the beginning of a long, beautiful journey to rewire and change my subconscious brain that I have truly enjoyed. And I do think that more than even shifting timelines or wanting that future, I do feel like it has just changed the way that I feel every day and how I approach every day, which is really what we want. We don't necessarily, we do want the future, but what we want is to feel good right now while we wait for that future to come, and to not feel like we have to hurry up and get there, but to just be like content and happy in our lives. And I do feel like this is helping me a lot to be able to do that. I feel relaxed, at ease, confident, like I'm supported on the other side, having faith in my path, knowing that I'm not alone, and all of that feels really good. So that is my take on jumping timelines, and a lot of it has to do with Dr. Joe Dispenza, his teachings, and what I've been doing with his meditation. So if you feel called to, maybe give it a try. But if you have your own way of doing things, I also think that's great. And maybe this will give you a little bit of inspiration on how you might want to shift your timeline or rewire your subconscious brain. So that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider sharing it with a friend. Or if you haven't already, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. That really helps me out. And follow me on all the socials at Guided Soul Crystals. And if you happen to be in the market for a crystal, you can head over to guidedsoulcrystals.com and support me and also connect with Mother Earth in the process. So until next time, keep going. You are doing amazing, and I love you.